Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor, and tonight I will be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Aquarius. If Aquarius is your solar, lunar, ascendant/rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. And so tonight, our card is the High Priestess. I'm excited to have this card. I had it last night as well from another deck. And I love that this is the energy, especially that we are going into a new season. In fact, I think right now, right on the dot even, the equinox is happening. We are passing over into the next cycle. And so let's take a look at what these tea leaves have to say. And if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit the little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. Look at that. It looks like a person. The face here, the eyes, the nose almost kind of looks like a mustache maybe. With the body of a cat. I immediately thought this looks like a cat. I'm trying to see, what does it look like they're holding? It looks like a small person with a sword right here. We also have KS, and we have the goddess right in here, one of the primordial goddesses. Okay. So I almost kind of feel like, well, and let me go over here. I was looking at this. It's a person sitting here. You can see the head and they're sitting, and it looks like they're holding maybe a drum or some kind of thing that they are sewing, maybe embroidering. But I immediately got the feeling that this is a father figure. That this is a father figure. And so I wonder if this is not, because it's part of the same formation, really. And I wonder, so I wonder if your father, and this is maybe really specific, but I wonder if your father was maybe raised in a family of women. I feel like there is a sense of really a kind of a almost rebellious streak. And maybe your father had you pretty young. Or he just was not really very mature at the beginning when you were a young child. And I almost wonder if like maybe there was a separation for some time. But as you got older, you spent more and more time with your father, and he calmed down, right? He settled down a little bit more. But I feel like there was almost a sense of always kind of almost a sarcasm or slyness, kind of like you would imagine a cat might be, kind of a little bit sarcastic. And it was always, it seems like kind of a battle to kind of feel like you were in the light of your father, right? Like, they talk about this with, like, I think narcissists, right? There's this kind of phenomena where when somebody who is a narcissist and they're manipulative and controlling. Now, I'm not saying this is your father, but this is what it reminds me of. Coming into the presence of somebody like that, and they kind of they gaze upon you, right? And they bestow their love, their attention. They're just so, proud of you and excited for what you're doing. But then when you fall out of favor, it's kind of like all of a sudden you're on the dark side of the moon, right? It's very cold there. They absolutely have no time for you. There might even be times where they're, kind of cruel, maybe not overtly abusive with their words, but kind of maybe withholding in some way. So I think that this obviously would really affect you. But I think as, life has gone on and maybe dad is still around or maybe he has transitioned, I think more and more this goddess energy came out. And I think this really comes through because I feel like you come from a long line of really strong women, or at least feminine beings, right? And I think that this is also the case with you, okay? There is an intense activation of these the Empress, the High Priestess, some of the Queen energies, right? And Princess as well. And I do feel like in a lot of ways you are quite rebellious in your own right. I think you are somebody that absolutely goes your own way. You are somebody who, is always kind of forging new paths. You are not really one to linger too long where you feel unwanted or it is not something that you want, right? You are really good at noticing when okay, now it's my time to it's my time to pack up and go, right? Start it something else. And so, I think that at times this is something that you're really, really proud of. And other times I think that you kind of lay in bed and think, lament a little bit, that maybe you could have stuck in there for a little bit longer. Maybe things would have turned around. Maybe, there was like some career you had and you felt like maybe in hindsight that you kind of abandoned it a little bit too soon or whatever it is. Well, let me just tell you, I don't know for sure the circumstances, but I do know that everything happens in its right time, even if we don't understand that. So, putting your energy into this feeling of I could have, should have, would have, whatever. Yeah, it's okay to indulge in it a little bit, but don't let it rule you, okay? You did what was right for you, okay? And if it led to something, where maybe you're making less money or you feel like you don't have the direction you once did, you find yourself maybe a little bit lonely or wondering, will I ever find another partner that was meant for me or so on. These are all things that we all think about, of course. But I think that the reality is, that you are somebody who will always advocate for yourself. Even if that front part of your mind is saying, no, let's just stick this out a little bit more. And then it's kind of that survival drive that's like, okay, no, it's time to do something, you know, quite different. I'm feeling stagnant. This isn't the place for me. I don't feel alive like I want to feel alive, and so on. The many other reasons, maybe safety, or there are other opportunities, and whatever it is. You know, so I think that the reality of it is you are somebody who, I feel like you have a long path here. You go through a lot of ordeals, that's for sure. But you also find so much happiness. You really do. I think more so than most people, I would even say. And a lot of that does come from the people who've raised you, and your long line of these women who just don't give up. They absolutely don't. And you know, I think that if you are somebody who maybe was looking for a life where you could find like one home and you were going to live there for, you know, 60 years, and this is where your roots are, and this is where your kids are going to have their kids, and their kids will have their kids, and so on. I don't necessarily see that as kind of the reality of things. I think that you're somebody who is in the wind a little bit. I think you're somebody who has very distinct chapters of your life. You know, sometimes you might feel a little bit travel weary, but I think you have probably such an interesting experience. You are quite worldly, and you know, here's my little like challenge and you know, a mini bag with whatever you have done, whatever you will do. Excuse me. I really truly hope that you write about it. I really truly hope that you make something with it, some kind of art, you know, a little movie or series of movies, a channel, whatever, on whatever platform. Do something, document your life, please. Because I think you're far more interesting than you even expect, right? You might think, oh, I'm just kind of me, and you know, I've lived in different places, and I've had different relationships, and I've, you know, had maybe a lot of different kinds of quirky jobs, or, you know, big careers, or whatever it is. And nobody would really be interested in that. But you would be surprised. And I also think that it is quite a way of honoring yourself. Have a little drink here before my throat gets all. And I have to say thank you for putting up with my voice, my coffee. I'm at the end of this this flu. Thankfully, I don't feel too terrible at all. I feel pretty normal, but I sound pretty bad still. But I'm trying. I'm doing all the different remedies that people have been so gracious to share with me in the comments, and I thank you so much. I truly do. It has been so helpful. Truly, truly. So, we go back to this person who is sitting there playing the drum. And I wonder if you did not grow up kind of in a family that was musical. And I see that we have some kind of animal. It reminds me of a small dog, maybe. And up here I see, I'm trying to think, is it Nurgle? It's one of the, and here we go, Akkadian, Babylonian, Phoenician, I forget. I think Akkadian maybe, but it could be Babylonian. I forget which pantheon or which culture Nurgle is from. And this is kind of akin to like Hades maybe. It is a subterranean underworld deity, okay? and a consort of Ereshkigal, and also in this context, it feels quite tricky, right? And so we know the story. I'm trying to think of the story of Ishtar going down and visiting for a funeral or wedding. Funeral, I think. But anyways, so there is kind of this sense of treachery in some ways. There is a sense of things being quite beautiful, and a family that is very loyal to one another. But I also think that there were times where maybe you felt like you wanted to run away from everything. And I'm looking at this. Right down here, we have a person who looks like they're running, okay? And I don't want it to move too much, but it looks like a person running. And as I'm saying that, it really does. It feels like this feeling like maybe your family was a little bit different than kind of most of the families that you grew up around. Or maybe not. Maybe your community was, you know, quite in line with the way that your parents lived, or your caretakers lived. And but there was, I feel like, the sense of like wanting to get out of like the town you lived in, wanting to do different things, kind of promising yourself that you would not kind of raise your kids the way that your parents raised you. You know, kind of, I think these are all things that most of us think at one point or another. But I do think that there's a sense of a lot of love in hindsight. Really feeling blessed that you had maybe an unconventional life as a young person, and that led to you being more confident in continuing to live kind of unconventionally, and opened a lot of doors for you because you see the world in a way that is quite different than the norm. And most people go about things in a really prescribed manner, whereas you get very creative with things. And you're not afraid to try, like, absolutely, things that people would think were quite bonkers, right? And you, I think, are willing to give things a shot. And I see here we have a 7, and I feel like there is this sense of, oh, and there's the other 7 right there. So we have this sense of, you know, coming up on that, kind of a payoff, a jackpot, you know. And I feel maybe like you're finding a job, or you have moved around a little bit, and you're finally in a place that really kind of feels like home. But I think a lot of this has to do with the fact that you are finding peace within yourself, you know. You still have that traveling spirit, but I also think that you realize that it was never really about getting away from like wherever your home was. It was kind of trying to find what home meant to you on a deep level. And now that you have gotten into this portion of your life, there's this real sense of, I am the creator of my own world. I am the architect of my own reality. And, you know, there's nobody that is going to come into this space with treachery and make me feel like I have to go running again. Because this is mine. This is for me. And you know, in some ways I think that, you know, you have come to this place of just great empowerment. You are loyal to yourself. You know, I think in a lot of ways too, you have begun to maybe not forget, but try to forgive some of the things that went on when you were younger. Some of the things that maybe, you know, that you would have wanted to not happen or change, or, and, you know, I'm thinking of things like maybe, yeah, dad leaving, or parents getting divorced, or, you know, just, whatever kinds of family dynamics that are difficult, financial issues, maybe, moving around a lot, not ever having like long-term friends, you know, never feeling quite like you are in the right place, or that you fit in, or whatever, these many different things that, you know, can happen to any of us. But I do, you know, I think that this is a place where there's a lot of like, the heart has softened, you know, and I think that you look back and you think about the things that, you know, maybe at the time you hated it, but now you find, you know, the quirkiness, the eccentric, qualities of it all quite beautiful and a gift to you. Okay. So, you know, I think that, truly deeply into that place of individuation, you know, that we all hope that we get to someday. And I do a quieting of the heart, a place where, oh my goodness, you know, we start to, just really find enjoyment in the little things, the little beautiful, subtle details of life really kind of lift up, and they feel so much more meaningful than maybe they once did. You know, I think about so many years of my life, I didn't even notice so much of what was around me. I was so wrapped up in, I don't even know what, you know, things that didn't matter. And I missed so many opportunities, you know, to, yeah, really literally stop and smell the roses, you know. I think about how many years I squandered not gardening. How many gardens could I have had in that time, you know? But everything in its right time, you know. We can't limit it too harshly, because that is a trap. It is a mind trap. Now we have this beautiful little tree, and immediately it's kind of like, yeah, there's that home, right? You are in that place, and maybe it was never meant to be a physical space, but you have found a sense of home and belonging. And the tree, it grows tall and it grows strong, and there really is a sense of security here, a sense of belonging in your own life for maybe the first time ever. And honestly, I mean, I couldn't wish for a better thing for somebody to come into a place where it's like, I know what I'm doing. This is where I want to be. This is the place that I feel my power activated. I am, you know, a being of light. I am a miracle. I am, you know, of an infinite line of just beautiful and conscious and powerful beings. And, you know, coming into this understanding, this embodiment of self. And, you know, if you even just get a little taste of that energy, it is something to behold. And so we also have a J down here. So a J, maybe a J name, it feels quite emotional. So I wonder if there is maybe kind of like an anniversary or something coming up for somebody with a J name. Oh Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at these gratitude cards. This is a little deck of appreciation. I have to tell you, my last reading I did, the cat, TT, of course, she was up here laying with me. She falls asleep in my arm. A lot of you have watched other readings, so you know she's often here. Well, she must have got her little claw stuck on my sweater, and she just got frantic, and she was, you know, if you have cats, you know, if they get stuck on something, they can't figure it out, they get upset really quickly. And so she turned around and she went to, you know, bite my shirt, and then she went for my face, and I got scared. And so anyway, she got me all shook up. I thought I was fine. I didn't feel anything. Well, then you know, my husband, shout out to Dove and Serpent Tarot, he heard the commotion. He came out to save the day, and he says, "You have blood all over your face. What's going on?" Well, the cat scratched me in the face, and so that is my little spring sacrifice, I think. That is the blessing of a most abundant new cycle. So thank you, TT. All right, so we have a little deck of appreciation. Yes, that's what it is. I'm going to go ahead and we'll stop where it feels right. Change the narrative. Reframe a negative thought into something positive. Well, that's what I just said. I got scratched in the face. But you know what? That's okay. It's all part of going through this gateway. And we are actually right on time. It is actually the equinox happening right now. I think it was supposed to be like at 11 my time. So we are right in there. So it makes sense. I didn't want to get scratched in the face, but you know what? It was like a tap of love, right? So I better have lots of love coming through this next cycle. So maybe you as well, you'll have something to kind of turn on its head, look for that silver lining. And I do hope that you have a beautiful new season. If you are going into spring, if you're going into fall, you know, I just think that with how the world is right now for a lot of people, you know, there's a lot of uncertainty about things and a lot of stuff to be worried about. And it truly is my deepest hope and prayer that, you know, it just something profound kind of breaks through, you know, and we find some stream of ease and togetherness and fellowship in one another, and can lift that vibration, right? Really kind of as a collective become kind of those you know, light embodied people. And I know it's not easy, and I know maybe it's a silly daydream, but you know, honestly, I feel like my life in this last year and a half or so, as I've been doing these readings, and I've almost done about 1,000 readings for this channel on top of a lot of personal readings and stuff, but I feel like my life has changed utterly. And a lot of it is that I have come in contact with just some of the most beautiful people, clever, interesting, survivors, warriors, just absolutely creative, well-spoken storytellers, beautiful people. And it only continues to be that I feel very close to spirit. I feel excuse me. And I feel, that was terrible right there. I feel that more than any other time in my life, I've been able to become myself. I'm not afraid to, you know, speak from my heart. I've been so afraid for so long, I think my whole life, to just kind of, you know, it's not even being vulnerable about the historical facts of my life so much, although that's scary as well. But it's like just being kind of the silly, nerdy, neurodivergent, you know. And I know sometimes I talk funny and in circles, and somebody said I was quirky on here in the comments, and you know, I think for some people that they would find that maybe I don't know, maybe something that would make them feel insecure a little bit, but I don't, you know, I just am what I am. And so I really do hope and pray that everybody that I come in contact, everybody that I meet, I think, gosh, I really hope that this is how you are living in some way too. I hope that you are finding places in your life where you can speak your truth, where you can be who you are, where, you know, you just feel so connected to the universe, to the collective of people who embrace you, and so on. Even the ones that don't, which there are plenty of people who don't on here, believe me, that just don't like me, and that's okay too. But, you know, I pray deeply for it, and I do believe in the power of prayer, wholly. And so, you know, I do hope that this blessing finds you, and I hope that this next period of time is one where you feel that calling. You feel that calling to speak, to create, to immerse yourself in this beautiful thing that is life, even in this often dark world, this scary, chaotic world. Still finding that bravery to go out there and be, just be. You don't have to be something, you just be, right? And that is a courageous act. It really is. So yeah, that's it. I could go on and on and on, but I love you, Aquarius. You are I am an Aquarius moon. It's not the only reason. I think that, you know, Aquarius people are just amazing. I've read that the Aquarius, solar Aquarius folks are the smallest group, right? Not by a lot, but the smallest group of people born under Aquarius. So you are a rarity. And always, every Aquarius I've ever known, or at least dominant Aquarius, is somebody that is just so magical, and has like just such a wealth of emotionality and emotional awareness. And it is always such a pleasure to be close to anybody like that. It is quite amazing. So, yes, I love you and I thank you. And I forgot, I have to do my outro thing. And if you, and if you would be so kind as to like the video, it does help the channel so much. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit the little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. And it is free to subscribe. Other than that, if you would like to leave a comment, please do. I'd love to hear from you. And hopefully I didn't already do that. I get off on my little tangents. I'm like totally out there feeling and vibing, and then I forget, did I do the things I need to do? Where have I been out wandering here in my mind? So anyways, Aquarius, thank you so much. I love you. I love you. I love you. Take care of yourself. Happy equinox, and we'll talk in just a few days. Good night.